What's going on, guys? Today we're doing a full day of eating, but with a special twist. Your mans is sick. I haven't been working out the same. I have had to pretty much decrease all of my activity. So how do I change my macros and diet to accommodate for being a little run down and sick? Let's talk about it. Let's go through the day and see what exactly I put into my body. But first things first, every morning, you know we got the cold brew, baby. Nectar of the gods. So I'm gonna probably have this. It's 9:30 a.m. now. I'm gonna work for about an hour and a half, 2 hours on this stim, and then I'll eat later in the day. I'll discuss why I like to hold off on my eating when I am sick and not moving later on. All right, so meal number one is going to be an omelet with a lot of veggies. So I have some broccoli here I'm cutting up with some cherry tomatoes. Then I have an Ezekiel English muffin. Serving size on these puppies is only half a serving for one side, but I'm gonna eat the full thing because we're reckless. And then we're gonna have 3 eggs, 2 egg whites, 2 cuties, some reduced fat mild cheddar, and I will see you guys in just a minute when we finally sit down and get to eating, and I'll discuss why I like to wait this long in the day to eat when I'm not as active. Also, a quick little tip, when you're cutting cherry tomatoes, if you go straight on, you're generally gonna get some spritz in either direction. So what I like to do, poke, and then I'll cut. So poke, then cut. And that way, it has a little bit of a penetration into like the membrane or whatever on the outside. And when you cut it, there's no like spraying all over you. So with veggies like tomatoes and broccoli, I'll put them in at the same time as the eggs. Now for things like spinach and more like leafy vegetables, sometimes I'll wait until the eggs have already kind of cooked because I don't like when those are really burnt and they taste like kind of like crispy. So with veggies like this, it's generally not as big of a deal, and I actually like to eat them when they're a little bit more crispy and kind of like toasty on the edges. But that's just a matter of personal preference. So if you are gonna be like, oh my God, you put that in first, well, oh well. Can you do it? One peel. Oh, I got it. I for sure got this. This one is not easy though. Yeah. Got it. One peel, baby. Whew, I'm so stoked for this breakfast. So what's actually going on with myself? So I have pink eye in both eyes, and I've had it for like 12 or 13 days, and it is so incredibly frustrating because I've heard from two different doctors on what it could be. Somebody said it's allergic pink eye / viral, and the other says it's bacterial. And I've tried antibiotic drops and everything else, and it's not really getting better, and it's kind of freaking me out, but that's besides the point. But I haven't been training consistently now for almost 2 weeks because one, I was just worried I was contagious, so I didn't want to go to the gym and give this to anybody. But also two, I've just kind of felt a little bit off. Obviously, like when your eyes are both like this messed up and your vision's blurry and like you're sensitive to light, the last thing you want to do is I think be around a gym with a ton of people with a lot of loud sounds. But it is what it is, we're making do. But I've structured my eating a little bit differently since I haven't been as active. I'm working out right now like 2 to 3 times a week, and those are literally full body workouts. Nothing too strenuous because this eye is so swollen that when I put a lot of strain on my body, which I learned the hard way, it like gets really swollen again, and it feels the pressure like under the eyelid, which I know is not ideal. If you are a medical person in here, please don't tell me that I'm dying. But that's kind of where we're at. So the reasoning I like to structure my meals later in the day when I'm not as active is for 2 key reasons. Number one is normally I eat around like 3,400-ish calories. Since I'm not as active, I've scaled that back a little bit, and that's one, because I don't have a need for that many calories, and two, just to kind of maintenance, like get back to my maintenance of like what I'm probably burning throughout the day. My weight has stayed pretty consistent, so I think I'm kind of on the money with where I'm eating. So I've dropped down to like 29, 3,100 calories. It varies a little bit depending on how I'm feeling and so forth, because I don't want to completely drop my calorie and my caloric intake because I was slowly gaining. But I also don't want to continue eating at that rate when I'm not training, especially when I'm not in my hypertrophy mesocycle. So I've dropped back my calories like 300 to 400 to 500 each day. And I like to push my meals a little bit later because it's just easier for me to consume that amount of calories in a smaller window. I almost kind of adapt like an intermittent fasting approach. Now, is that ideal for gains? I'm not here to say. Personally, I like spreading out my meals, especially if my goal is strength focus, muscle gain focus, and just energy focus. But because I know I'm worn down and a little sick, I have finite energy. So what I like to do is I like to have a coffee in the morning and really run on that stimulant and that buzz for as long as I can before I get super hungry. And then when I'm hungry, I integrate in a meal like this that's very balanced, very plentiful when it comes to nutrients, and that'll stoke up more energy for the next few hours. And then when I get to around like 3 or 4, which you'll see later in this video, I'll start to coast a little bit. Now this meal itself is somewhat of a staple in my routine. English muffin is like my good carb source, slow digesting carbs. I have my normal omelet, ton of veggies in there, some sriracha on top, and then I have 2 cuties in the hopes of getting more vitamin C so I can get rid of this. But that's kind of how I like to structure my eating when I'm sick. Now I'll talk more about macro and how I structure those later in this video, because talking about them right now I don't think does you any good because we're only at breakfast. Let's see where I'm at the end of the day. All right, we are on to snack number 1, technically, meal 2, I guess. Decided I want to go to the gym today to do like a lighter upper push-pull, get in a little bit of hypertrophy work, keep everything super light. I'll show you guys what we're doing in a few minutes, but the meal I am having is 3 Vans waffles with protein. These suckers are so good. Moderately low in calories too, and this is about 15 grams of protein. And then I have the Marshmallow Crispy Treat, aka the Protein Puff Bar from ProMix Nutrition. If you've never tried these, whoo, they're good. I'll give you guys a link to a review I've actually done on these before, but they are really good. Decent calories and macros as well, and they just go really well with honestly any type of meal. The Snickerdoodle is phenomenal with coffee. But let's talk about why I chose this meal before my workout. Sugar-free maple syrup, always. Putting on just a little bit. Try not to overdo it. Okay, first off, also, whoever made this cap without like the little spritzy thing, like, F you, man, it's freaking rough. Why are you making us dump it onto our waffles? Makes no sense, very frustrating. I guess first world problems though. So why this meal before the gym? Well, for starters, the macro spread is really good. The waffles themselves, 15 grams of protein, about like 37 grams of carbs and about like 12 grams of fat. And then this guy is 15 grams of protein, about 16 grams of carbs, and then like 4-ish grams of fat. So overall, it's a pretty light meal when it comes to just how heavy it feels in my belly. I tend to digest this really quickly and it gives me a nice little surge of energy. Plus we have a Japanese iced coffee here. This meal might actually look different if I wasn't going to the gym. I probably would have had a more like vegetable heavy snack or something like a peanut butter piece of toast with like some form of like fruit or vegetable. But since we are training, I wanted a little bit more carb and protein, but also sources that would digest pretty dang quickly. This is a whey isolate too, so it's not gonna feel super heavy when it comes to like the whey component of it. But I'll see y'all in the gym.
What we do here is go back.
Post-workout every day. Creatine, this is a bulk supplement, creatine mono, fairly cheap. If you're on the market for creatine, check these guys out. They're fairly cheap on Amazon, and honestly, this bag has lasted me forever. If you are interested, I'm gonna drop a link down below. It'll say creatine, so check it out if you're in need of some new steroids. I mean creatine. All right, so we're about an hour after my workout, and we're gonna have a little snack before dinner. I'll probably eat dinner around like 6:37. Cook for my baby tonight. We have an unsweetened almond milk. We're gonna do about like 12 ounces of this in this little blender bottle. And then we're gonna do 2 scoops of this collagen protein. This collagen protein is real simple. 1 scoop is about 11 grams of protein. Not the best tasting protein out there, but you know what? It's all we got. So we make do with what we have. And then I also have an apple here, and I'm gonna do some almond butter, and we'll show you what a true 2 tablespoons looks like, because it is depressing AF, but you gotta be honest. So let's dive into that. All right, 2 tablespoons, gotta keep it honest for the people. Let's go. All right, 1. Come out of the tablespoon. Peanut butter, almond butter, sorry. Almond butter, Nikki, almond, not almond. Almond. I think it's because I'm from Missouri. I have that little like speech impediment. All right, 2 tablespoons, keeping it honest, 190 calories for just this. When will they figure out how to make almond butter way higher in protein and give you way more volume for what it's worth without making it loaded with sugar? That's the $1 million question. But I'm gonna eat this, and I will see you guys at dinner. All right, dinner time. Best meal of the day. Right, guys? Right? Maui, come. Oh my God, are you afraid of the camera, really? He's like, nah, I ain't getting by that. Meanwhile, Kona's like, oh, I don't care. Come on, Maui. Dinner time. Kibble time. Come here, just the camera. It's just the camera. All right, for dinner we have some sweet potato puffs. These are bueno. Some whole organic chicken. So thighless, boneless, skinless chicken. And then we have some broccoli florets that we'll put into the air fryer. These guys go in the stove. And then chicken is stovetop, and I'll show you how we're doing that in 2 seconds. Broccoli. Knock him out, get him. Oh yeah, sweet potato puffs, chicken, broccoli. Thoughts? What did you try?
Sweet potato puffs. Really good. You made those really well.
I put them in the oven well.
You did so great.
Try the chicken. Try the
Do you have
chicken.
seasoning on this chicken? I think I saw you put seasoning on, but I wasn't
Yes,
sure.
I use salt, mushroom seasoning, and a little bit of garlic. Oh. Good? Mm-hmm. 1 out of 10, go.
On a Jake scale, 8. Probably this is the best chicken you've probably cooked.
All right, so we wrapped up dinner about like an hour and a half ago. Now I'm gonna eat probably what's gonna be my final meal of the day, unless I have another clip after this, which I doubt, because I am pretty full still. We have 3 more waffles. We have a vanilla crisp Pro Mix protein puff bar, unsweet almond milk, and then I found this in the pantry, apple spinach kale baby food. Why not? I could use some apple spinach kale right now. But I spoke earlier about how I manipulate my macros when I'm sick, not active, and so forth. So looking at my spread on the day, and I know I mentioned that I'm eating around like 3,100 calories. My spread on the day comes out to about 2,800 calories, 180 grams of protein, 216 grams of carbs, and about 119 grams of fat. A little bit under the number that I usually shoot for, which is like usually around like 3,000, but I did have a lot of strawberries and other vegetables today, so reality is I probably got really close to that. Feeling pretty dang full right now, and that's why I'm not having a huge meal before bed. Sometimes I'll have a bigger, heavier carb meal before bed, but since I've been sick for literally 2 weeks now, I just haven't been training the same, I haven't been running the same, I haven't been as active, so not only do I have to bring back my calories because it's like I just physically can't eat enough, but also just I haven't felt very hungry. my metabolism is very much based on how active I am. And when I am active, I can snake in like an extra 500 calories and I won't even feel that full. But on days when I'm not training, I just feel full all the time. And I know it's like probably not the worst problem to have, but it's just how my body is and how I feel. I don't like having a lot of carb intake on days when I'm not training just because I get like so jittery and like I feel very slow and so forth that I'm just not a huge fan. So the way I like to shift my carbs on days like this where I am sick and run down for more than a week's time, no, like a couple days of being sick, just eat normal, don't overcomplicate things. But on like 2 weeks when I'm feeling run down and like I'm only training two times a week, I will bring back my calories a little bit, and then I'll up my fat intake, drop my carb intake, and keep my protein either at the same or a little bit higher. It really comes down to how I'm feeling, what I have available in my kitchen, and what my goals are. So at the time, like at this moment, I was in hypertrophy block. I'm trying to just kind of honestly maintain what I have until I can train again, because this, like, these are so annoying. Like, this is very blurry. I can't even see in front of me. So whenever I can train again, the goal is to kick back up my carb intake and start putting back on weight. So like I was like slowly gaining, and now I'm like, well shoot, I can't train, and I was in hypertrophy block. Like I don't want to just eat higher caloric intake while I'm not training. So then I have to bring back. I'm maintaining my weight pretty dang well. I've lost probably a little bit of water weight, which is why I'm like a pound or two down. But overall, feeling decent. It just sucks that I had to like put my like slow weight gain on pause, but it is what it is. That's life. Roll with the punches. If you guys have any questions about this day of eating or nutrition, fitness, drop it in the comments below. Would love to answer them. Hopefully I'll be back to my normal posting schedule soon. So 4 to 5 videos a week. But like honestly, it's so frustrating. But I'll see you guys in the next one. Thank you for tuning in. Hopefully this gave some context on how I like to eat when I'm sick, or for sick for longer than a week, let's call it, not just a couple days. So see you guys in the next one. Okay, I lied. I had 2 more waffles, blueberry Vans. Now my total for calories. Okay.
Sorry.
So now my total for calories in the day, 2950, 180 grams of carbs, 255 grams of carbs, and then we have 122 grams of fat, right? 125 grams of fat. 2 more waffles. Whoop-de-dee. Hit my total for the day, 2950. Goal was 3,000. It's your birthday tomorrow. Happy birthday.